We're glad you're with us today. It's a period of history that still is so fascinating today.
Yeah, and now you can take an even closer look at the personal sides that went into fighting the Civil War that's been so talked about here in this border state of Kentucky. Trevor Jones with the Kentucky Historical Society is joining us to tell us about a new exhibit that will help with that. Thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Let's talk about that. As we said, you know, brother against brother, war between the states, and families were really torn during the Civil War.
Absolutely, and probably no somewhere than Kentucky, actually. About 100,000 soldiers fought for the Union in Kentucky, about 40,000 for the Confederacy. The state tried to remain neutral when the war started, tried to balance that, ended up joining the Union. And it's really, if you're looking at the transition point for Kentucky that sort of shaped our future, the Civil War is it, still 150 years ago.
So a lot of people who come to this exhibit will really be kind of reliving their ancestors' roles there. What can they expect?
Well, this is not your typical sort of battles and generals kind of Civil War exhibit that a lot of people have seen. This really looks at those family stories and looks how families were torn apart. So you'll see the things that kids wore during the Civil War. You'll see dresses that women wore. You'll be able to engage with these interactive iPads to figure out how that if you were a soldier, how would you have packed your backpack? Or if you were a spy in Kentucky during the Civil War, how would you have deciphered a coded message? So there are all those kind of things. And it takes you from the pre-war, when Henry Clay from Kentucky was really instrumental in stopping the war from starting until 1861, all the way to the post-war period and how Kentucky citizens dealt with the end of slavery and all of the transitions. So there's a lot of hands-on stuff, a lot of artifacts that haven't been seen before. It's a really interactive and fun exhibit.
Yeah, a lot of people know the facts of Abraham Lincoln from Kentucky being president of the Union, and the Confederacy was led by Jefferson Davis, who also was from Kentucky. That sort of thing. Are those kind of large topics taken on, or is this more of the...
It's more of a personal exhibit, but there is something that's really fantastic in this exhibit. They're the papers from Mary Todd Lincoln, and there's a little dress that she made for her son Robert during the Civil War, and there's also the papers that she was committed to an insane asylum after the Civil War. Those papers are in this exhibit as well. And she had relatives who fought on the side of the Confederacy, and her husband was leading the Union. So it shows you even her family was torn apart.
Yeah, when you think about those incredible emotions that went in with those divided families. This opens up the 2nd of June, is
June
that right?
2nd,
And how long is it going to run?
We're going to run it through about mid-December.
At the Kentucky History Center there on Broadway in Frankfort. Is it like in the main exhibit hall there? Is that the...
Yes, it's in our Keeneland Gallery, so it's right downtown, and June 2nd through December.
All right, $4 for adults, $2 for kids 6 to 18, and free for children 5 and under. And
sounds like a good thing to do on a hot summer day, you know, kind of...
We're going to have a lot of them, it sounds like. So.
I think so. I think so.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Yeah, hope you have good crowds over there. Learn.